And Nimrat, many thanks for joining us here on Republic. You've seen the complex.
Thank you.
So,
It's gorgeous, and thank you for gathering here today and for such a remarkable introduction. I love myself a lot more now.
and we all love
Thank you.
you. So I'm sure a lot of women sitting here, a lot of women watching at home want to know more about you, want to know more about your journey, and which is why I thought we'll start from the start. We'll start from where it all started. Your parents are also sitting here, who've been the biggest inspiration to you in your life. How was it growing up, and what was the kind of environment at home, being a girl child, your siblings, and what was the kind of culture that was inspirational in getting you where it has?
Well, I think to begin with, being an army daughter, that is the defining, I think, foundation of my upbringing, of my value system, of what I look at life as, the prism through which I look at life. It all comes through the lens of my cantonment years and that upbringing. And it's really democratic, it's really fun, there's nothing you can't do. Everything that is open and free for a boy is as big an opportunity or as open for a girl. So, I never grew up with sort of the awareness that I'm a girl. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I was just a child, growing up with other kids, and some were boys and some were girls, and that's that. So that fearlessness, which I think is also a reason why so many of us are in the business, we kind of find our roots wherever we are planted. So that culture comes in very, very early on into our lives growing up. You kind of change your school and friends every 2 to 3 years. You don't really have a comfort zone. And I think as an actor, if I may, connect those dots, it really helps because every time you pick up a project, you're working sometimes months away from home or 40, 50 days on a film set, or nowadays we have web series, so they're longer schedules. So, you kind of find new ways of getting to know people. You're not shy in a way, and you're accepting of different cultures, of different temperaments, moods, personalities, because somewhere it's built into your software, without you really realizing it. And I had a beautiful upbringing, very healthy, very flamboyant, buoyant, happy. There were no limits. I just had to decide that I want to do this and do everything I could to do it, and I could do it. It was just that. No limits, no barricades, no guardrails. Make your mistakes, fall, rise again, learn to ride the cycle, without those side wheels, and fall and get up again, don't be scared. That's the messaging I still live by.
Right. And I think it's important to also mention that today happens to be the 31st death anniversary of your father, Major Bhupinder Singh, who was kidnapped by insurgents and later assassinated. You also inaugurated a memorial in his name. A few words from you on how you feel and how the incident massively shaped your life and the decisions in your later years.
Yeah, I mean, we've come a long way as a family. I mean, life is life, and it throws situations at you at sometimes in your young age and sometimes in your middle age or older years. This happened to us when we were a very young family, and it was a very difficult time for all of us. But having said that, I do know that. My apologies. I think my late father's. So I think my late father's blessings somewhere, they have really helped me shape who I am, so apologies. Yeah. Excuse me. These are also tears of joy in a way, because I know that today, wherever he is, he's always looking over us, and we have been able to live by his value systems and the things that he brought me up with and my sister up with, and it gives me a lot of thank you. Apologies. So it gives me a lot of pride. You know, today I'm a very, very proud army daughter. I know that somewhere, you know, his blessings and his love always kept us going and, you know, held us in good stead. And I do know that everything that I have taken free fall into as a girl, as a human being, and, you know, it wasn't easy to make the decision, you know, to be coming out of, you know, Sri Ram College of Commerce, a BCom honor student, and, you know, to take this career decision, it was like, you know, what are you even thinking? Like, are you okay? You know, you're wasting your seat and your life and all of those things, which are very valid. But I think somewhere, you know, the fearlessness he instilled in us as a unit, that has really, you know, taken me, you know, this whole way and continues to. And of course now, you know, we have a memorial in his name, which also honors 12 other martyred soldiers from his village, his birthplace, Monpura in district Ganganagar, which is a matter of massive pride because, you know, somewhere I want his life story to have a physical presence. You know, even if one young person asks, you know, who was this person and what happened and why is his, why do we have a memorial here? And they get inspired by his life story. I think, you know, we'll have carried on his legacy, you know, from a simple farmer's son, growing up with no means practically, farming in the day, walking miles in the night, going for night school, getting into Jodhpur University on scholarship, getting into the IMA, and then being, you know, a fine officer. I really do believe that this is going to, you know, carry forward his story, and he's here to stay.
My heart is with you. And as I understand that academics was quite the focus when you were growing up. Yeah. But, you know, given your achievements, how did that conversation go? Like, did you always want to be an actor, or is it something that you felt later in your life? And when you told your parents that I want to be an actor, I want to move to Bombay, how did that happen?
That was, you know, I was preparing for it for 3 years. I had to have that conversation to myself because, you know, SRCC is a very prestigious college and you don't, you know, waste that opportunity away. So I had to tell myself that why am I doing this exactly? Is it just a hobby I'm trying to extend to, you know, to a foolhardy decision, or what's going on? So I said, you know, I'll give it a shot. I had no idea about anything. I just had some, you know, at that time, I'm talking in the year 2003 actually, when I made the shift. And that time there was really nothing, you know. The internet was like cyber cafes. We didn't even have computers in many of our houses and stuff. And I just kind of figured that if I can make a living, if I can, so I had started to work in college and make a little bit of money hosting and, you know, doing these, you know, these live events by banks and things. They used to do them in South Extension Market 1 and 2. So there were these kind of open trucks, you know, where you have a mic and you stand and you kind of talk non-stop about something or the other. I've done all of that. So in college, I used to do that as a side gig for money. And I had about 50,000-60,000 rupees in my bank account. So I thought that, you know, I can maybe, you know, survive for a few months. And I had family in Bombay, so I stayed with them. That was very, you know, helpful because it's not, you know, easy. Yes. If you don't know anybody in Mumbai, it's tough. So I thankfully had family there, and I stayed with them, and I had a roof over my head. So I'd made the most of that time. I gave about 80, 100 auditions, cracked, you know, some ad films and music videos. Tera Mera Pyar happened, which I do believe people still know and, you know, love. And then life happened. And then, you know, it was like theater and, you know, it was one after the other. There was validation that whatever I have set out for isn't a total mistake. You know, like I was able to bankroll myself. Let's put it like that. Yeah.
So I want to come to that part now. You know, in today's day and age, a girl moving to a new city is not an alien concept, yeah. And a lot of girls do that. Yeah. But as a personal journey, it can never be easy, and it is not easy, and especially when you're stepping into Bollywood. What were your learnings in the initial phase, and what were the vulnerable moments like?
I was very cautious and very scared, because one had heard horror stories of all kinds of mishaps and, strange situations that girls found themselves in. And, these are things that you hear when you're not from Mumbai. It's the big bad world of Bollywood and, God knows what's going on and, all those kind of weird preconceived notions, which I don't blame people for. I think, every profession comes with its own perception. So the idea was to not let it like I didn't want to tell myself that story because then I was going to go in with a losing attitude. I didn't want to tell myself any stories. I took one day at a time. Some days were tough as hell. I used to queue up in those PCOs, I didn't have a mobile phone. It was very expensive then to, no, I had one, but it was too expensive to make long calls. And then I used to stand, hours in queues, to talk home, and I used to cry and sob and wonder. But at the same time, you don't want to be weak and you don't want to, be told कि छोड़ दो सब कुछ वापस आ जाओ पहले ही बता दो क्यों गए, So there was always that balance I wanted to maintain. So there were struggles. There was very tough times. One didn't know how are you traveling. I didn't have a car or anything. So trains, autos, buses. In the monsoons, you have water splashing onto you when you're kind of done up and everything for screen tests, all kinds of challenges. I think I never quite came to a point where I broke, I broke down enough to come back. That never happened. Somehow something in me kept me going. One more day, one more month. Let's give it another month. Let's give it 2 more months. Let's see. And it wasn't all bad. Within 3 months of being there, I had, bagged these music videos, which really set the advertising ball rolling, which really kind of was wonderful. It helped me get my own apartment on rent. And, I found my feet there. And one thing after the other, I did theater after that because I figured that, advertising makes you comfortable on camera, maybe, and you know how to look pretty, but you don't know how to read line. So I just knew how to sell something, but I didn't know how to be someone else. So I watched plays. I'm a bit of like a nerd, When I look back, I went about it very like how a student goes about something. So I've always approached life through a student's lens. How do I learn? How do I figure this out? I hadn't seen a camera. I hadn't seen a set. I had no idea who's on set. What is a set? What you see is so pretty, and what's around there is just wires and dust and cutters and all kinds of unhealthy things. So it was a great learning journey, fabulous learning journey. I'm grateful to, the life force in me somewhere that never let me come back. Yeah.
They say you truly only grow up once you're out of your comfort zone and once you're out of your home. And that happened with you in Bombay. Cut to the time when Lunchbox happened and Nimrat Kaur was out there, the talking point of every home, and your experience of working with someone like an Irfan Khan. Yeah. From the tough journey to coming into the spotlight, yeah. What was that change like as a girl?
Well, I wish firstly I'd had the honor of working across from him. The film is about their love story, but I never quite got to share a lot of screen space. We were together in one scene only, which was the cafe scene where we don't have any dialogue exchange and, I'm supposed to not know that he's there. And he was just looking at me and, being his poignant, amazing self. I was very intimidated by him because I was thanking my stars. I said, good, I don't have to face this tower of a talent, because I don't know how I'll acquit myself or, will I even be able to say anything? But having said that, this is something that I'll always have as an unrequited wish, that I couldn't have the great honor of sharing screen space with him. We really actually hung out and spent time at the Cannes Film Festival, which is where the film premiered in 2013, May. So that's where it became huge. And we could see, it was palpable, that something extraordinary is happening here. It's not usual. I was being told things, so I agreed and I nodded along. I said, okay, wow, amazing things are happening. And then I remember one night I was sitting with Irfan sir and I was like, how do you handle all this? Because I'm not able to understand what's going on. He just said, Dekho, enjoy करो, अच्छा time बार बार नहीं आता है. He said मुसीबतें ही आएंगी, enjoy कर लो ये, soak up कर लो ये, you know, जो भी आपको अभी मज़ा आ रहा है, just enjoy it. Because फिर वापस तुम्हें जाके problems ही आएंगी वापस, क्या काम ये वो, कहते just enjoy, ज़्यादा सोचो मत. So I said okay.
But from there on, it was an upswing for you.
Yeah.
You were working with bigger superstars and you continue to. Your film Skyforce is set to release. Since we are in a women's summit and we are talking about women empowerment, again, I want to go back to Bollywood and ask you, what has your experience been like? Who are the most chivalrous superstars? How is the conduct towards women?
Well, quite honestly, I have been very fortunate that I have only met and worked with the most wonderful people, men and women alike. You know, I really have been very, very lucky. Maybe it's to do with the subjects that find me, and vice versa. You know, the subjects that I look for and I find. I feel like it attracts energies which are like-minded and, you know, that bring the same value system to every project. So I have been very fortunate, I'll be very honest. I've been super fortunate. I've only been treated with love. And I think that, you know, a lot of that does go back to the Lunchbox. Because it was such an unconventional, out-of-the-box, if I may say, way of being introduced into a business where you suddenly became a name and, you know, you were no longer the Cadbury girl, if I may. You know, I'm just saying, if anybody recalls that ad or whatever, you do. So, you know, it's like, it's a great sort of, you know, it was the trampoline that straight away set me right into the thick of the business. People kind of knew who I was. Even though it wasn't a commercial film, like it released in, I think, about 650 theaters in India, but it released in about 75 countries, I'm told. And huge business in, you know, France, Germany, wherever else. So the footprint of that film was very interesting. I just happened to be there. That is pure chance, pure chance. I worked, you know, parallelly in theater, and, you know, Ritesh Batra ended up seeing me there, you know, because of the casting director of the movie. So a lot of providence, chance, choice, destiny, all of those good things have come together and shaped every decision that either I have taken or life has taken for me, which includes the people I have worked with. And truthfully, I have genuinely never had any untoward, problematic situations, you know, where you have to question that why am I doing this, or is this even worth it? No, never.
Talking about the scripts that have chosen you and that also helped you cross borders, so you've worked on international platforms. How was it different from your experience in Bollywood? And again, with the way women are treated there, the difference in work culture on an international set, how was that like?
So I would say that I didn't see a difference in how women are treated there, really. I did see a difference in work culture. And I do believe that culturally, we're very different people, you know. The West is very different. They function very differently. The fabric of that society is very different. And I don't mean to sound very intellectual about this, but we sense it, you know. यहाँ पे ना थोड़ा हम समझ के adjust करके काम करते हैं. यार आधा घंटा लेट चल रहे हैं, थोड़ा adjust कर लो, मैं नहीं आ सकता, उसका कर लो. You know, we work like that. And somehow through that chaos, some amazing, shining examples of work have come up, you know. But I feel like work abroad is a little more aligned with how I grew up, which is structure. 0805 hours means 0805 hours. It does not mean 0806 hours. Everything works like clockwork. So everyone's doing their job in such a committed and you know, focused manner that you can't fault it. Here sometimes I feel like thoda sa चला देते हैं, चल जाएगा, you know, वो उसमें थोड़ा कभी होता है. So sometimes it's tough, but I do believe that, you know, now things have changed drastically. I've now been working in the industry, I can say, for almost 10 years. I mean, yesterday was 9 years for Airlift. So yeah, you know, so it's like, I think the landscape has changed a lot. But as a woman, I will say that I have only seen equality in the way I was treated abroad, and the way I am treated on a set here. I have never faced any kind of strange, you know, inequalities or not being valued, or this is my experience, huh? I'm not saying this happens everywhere, and I'm not saying this is the norm, but this is my experience.
Concepts by and large are changing for women, and I think
Can I
that
just say
is-
one more thing?
Yeah.
Bahar adrak ki chai nahi milti.
इसके बाद जरूर मिलेगी.
Thank you.
पक्का. I promise
That
you
was a
that.
soft reminder also.
पक्का मिलेगी इसके
वो
बाद.
बड़ा कैसे समझाओ उनको?
Okay, I'll also request the team if she can have an adrak ki chai while we are having this conversation. That would be lovely.
Thank you.
But
Yes.
we'll continue.
Yeah.
So I was saying that concepts by and large have changed for women,
Yeah.
and I see that trickle effect in Bollywood also. So, for
Right.
example, directors want to have a bare face of the actor, and it's not about loading it with makeup.
Right.
There is greater acceptance towards different body shapes, body sizes, and it's
Yeah.
not about conforming to a certain standard of being size 0.
Yeah, yeah.
And we see that change
Yeah.
in the kind of women actors and how directors are making their stories.
Yeah.
Are you appreciative of that, and what is your view on how women are being projected in Hindi films?
I actually love it. I'm a huge champion, of seeing real people, real body types, and real emotions, you see. I have never shied away. I mean, the Lunchbox I can come back to that. It was my first film in a sense, and I had nothing on. I literally used to tie my own hair up with a rubber band and put kajal, and that is all you see in the movie. So we are not meant to look brilliant, you see. We're meant to look relatable. We're meant to look like if you look at me playing something, you should be able to remember someone you know, or somebody you don't want to know, or something. You need to see my eyes, You need to be able to look into my soul through my eyes. That is the job of an actor, you see. My primary job isn't to look like a certain body type. However, if a part requires that, that's a part of my job as well. So I will lose weight, I will gain weight, I will, shabby down, or, pretty up. There are all kinds of genres. I don't think we can really, and we all love seeing all kinds of cinema, all kinds of shows. I do. I don't want to see absolutely perfect looking things or absolutely imperfect looking things. I get bored either ways, you see. I want to see all kinds of variety, and I want to be a part of it. So there is nothing that I'm, married to in that sense as a concept. Right. I really love the idea of versatility. And as an actor, to be malleable enough ki yaar, my job is ki, if a filmmaker thinks ki yaar, let's show her as a queen in a palace. I want to be able to play that part. Or let's show her as someone who works for the palace. I want to be able to play that too. That's my job. How I do that, how I shape shift and find myself there, that's my job. And I have enough and more examples. There's Vidya Balan, there is Tabu, Sri Devi. What towering talents, what massive life examples, I salute these women. I love them. I love what they've stood for, and, in their work, in their body of work, they've never shied away. And I'm sure there are so many more that, I'm missing here. But I really love women who are risk takers. I really enjoy that. It really inspires me.
On that note, I want to tell you your chai has come. So can we please have her
Yippee.
chai on stage? That would be lovely.
All right,
And,
fabulous. We can carry on. Yeah.
So, earlier it was believed in Bollywood that if a girl gets married, then her career is potentially over. She has no scope in films anymore. And that has wonderfully changed in the last decade or so.
Yeah.
A girl gets married, she has children, but actors like Kareena Kapoor, Alia Bhatt are totally proving how a marriage or how having a child is no more an impediment.
Yes.
Do you, again I say, embrace this change in Bollywood where it is purely about your merit and not about being a certain age, looking a certain way, what your personal life is? In fact, now most of these celebrities flaunt their personal life on social media.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. I think it's very healthy, and it's extremely important to set that example out, because, young girls somewhere, thank you. Bas biscuit nahi, please. Thank you. So young girls somewhere, need to look at such female role models as the wonderful women you just named, and look at them and say, you know what, they're not shy and they're not worried, and how wonderful, and this is the example I want I want to be like. Because that happened to me. You know, when I was growing up, I had role models. I was looking at actors and actresses, and I used to kind of bookmark quotes by actors such as Mr. Shah Rukh Khan. I remember growing up and literally underlining his interviews. Where I found a likeness there. You see, I said, he's from Delhi, he's from St. Stephen's, North Campus. Oh, no, I'm sorry, he was from Hindu, right? He was from Hindu. Hansraj or Hindu, one of the two. Hansraj? Yeah, he was from North Campus, So, so I was like, this is what he says and this is what he believes. If you think you can do it, you can do it. And it's the messaging which actors send out knowingly, unknowingly, as life examples that really inspire people. There is no doubt about it. How you live your life. I'm not here to make judgments about people's creative choices. That's a separate matter. How you live your life and how you are unapologetic about who you are and what your views are, and how you just walk into a room and the room belongs to you. Doesn't matter if you're tall, short, a certain body type or not, married, single, divorced, old, young. What are these? These are all societal constructs. If you really zoom out, we're really like, bubbles on the ocean of time. Do you know what I'm saying? Everyone's just here for such a short span of time. And is this what we are going to live by? I don't think so. I think life is much more than that. I want to look at people who travel. What else are they doing? Okay, they're making money. What else are we doing? Okay, wonderful. Excellent work, awards. What else are you doing? How are you giving back to the society? All of that good stuff. And I do believe that women nowadays, the way they live overall, they set far more amazing benchmarks. They're more unapologetic. The society allows them also. Earlier, the societal norms were a bit guarded. We were all a little bit more inside our living rooms and our bedrooms, and we didn't have platforms. And I think that's a real upside of social media.
Now, nepotism has been an ongoing debate in Bollywood, and also about the pay disparity and how male actors are paid more than women actors. Have you ever felt it? Also, because I ask you, you're from outside of the industry, have you had experiences where a certain actor's daughter or a certain director's daughter is given preference because she has a lineage in Bollywood? And where do you stand on these issues, given the fact that you're also an outsider?
To be very honest now, I don't mean to sound as if I'm unaffected, but I don't limit my ecosystem to my neighbor or the next vanity van or the next project and who's getting cast where. I don't believe in that, because, I feel like if I make my battles small little fights, I'll remain only at that level. And somewhere, it's been an unconscious way of growing up always. And I don't actually bother to find out who's getting what. That's my God honest truth. I know what I'm getting. I know that I want to keep getting more and more and more. I love to earn money to be able to spend on myself and my loved ones. And, give back to the society in whichever way I can. So I want to be able to be in a place where, do I feel like I deserve more because you see the kind of work I'm doing deserves much more? Those are the questions I ask. It's not with a comparison to a male actor or a female actor. And then, of course, this has been said many times, and I will reiterate that it's the amount of people you get to the theaters, the number of eyeballs that you're able to gather. I was missing for a long time. I was abroad working, and it takes a long time to come back and plug yourself into projects. I am so grateful to still be relevant. You know how many people come into Mumbai every day and they just come and disappear, or people have been here for years and they are, oblivious, or they're in the oblivion. People don't want to cast them, and they have such a hard time. The industry's gone through such a hard time in the last 2 years, also post-COVID, I'm very grateful to be relevant, to walk into a room. Even if someone here has seen one music video, one ad, something, I know I'm on the right path here. I don't have to worry about ab kaisa paisa mil raha hai, isko kitna mil raha hai, usko nahi mil raha hai. I'm here for the long haul. I'm not in a rush. My talent doesn't depend on my body. My talent does not depend on the wrinkles on my face or the absence or the presence of it. I'm here to entertain. I'm here to provide relatability for people. Like, she's one of us, and if she could do it, we can, or how wonderful to see her. I want that love, you see, I'm hungry for that. The day that kind of starts to water down, then I'll need a reality check that, okay, I need to think and I need to do something differently.
So after Lunchbox, how have you chosen your scripts or tried to shape your career if there was a deliberate attempt from your side? In terms of, I will only play the central character, are you also careful about how that character is being projected, or is it purely about the character and how the character fits into the story? How have you made your choices?
I got very lucky. You know, Homeland happened to me right after the Lunchbox. Who would have thought? I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what Homeland was. You see, I didn't know what was it. I wasn't watching anything. I was just a girl, one of the models, you know, working in theater and, you know, kind of living that life. Lunchbox happens, can happens. Suddenly you're in London because you've been asked to come for a screen test, and there I am, and I'm doing that. Somebody else had been cast for that, by the way. That was done. It was finalized. They saw the Lunchbox and somehow they thought, I'll make a great spy. So that's a genius move that I got lucky with. I had no part to play in that. They saw the Lunchbox and they were the American wonderful writers, and you know, they were like, oh my God, she'll make a great spy. And I said, yes, you're right, she will. So I just went there with no knowledge of Homeland or what it was, or went to Cape Town. We shot there for 4 months. I watched all the 3 seasons back to back right there. So that's a negative, out and out negative part, so to say, from the lens of, you know, like a conventional perspective. But after that, airlift happens. Again, I'm just picked for that project, you see. Then I did another show abroad. You know, it was literally for a while, it was like one thing in India, one abroad. One in India, then the test case happened in India. Then I went abroad again. I did Homeland season 8. I don't know which part is what choice I made, or I just knew what I was avoiding. I was avoiding repetition, and I avoided some of the parts which I felt were in the same vein as the Lunchbox because that had kind of worked. And many tell me that, you know, you were missing for so long. I just didn't know better. I just did what I felt was right, what I thought was correct at that time for me. And maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. But here I am, and I'm very happy. So I go by, you know, how is my joy quotient in life? That's it.
So, which is the medium you enjoy the most from the many, many ads you've done and the Cadbury girl that shot you to fame, to the typical Bollywood masala films and the blockbusters, to, you know, working on Homeland, and not only is it a different story, but even in the way the work happens there.
Yeah.
Where is your heart the most?
Gosh, it's like you're asking me to pick between, you know, kids, as they say. Which kid do you like the most? No, yeah, it doesn't work. I love doing ads. I love 30 seconds or 2 hours, or I'm a very greedy actor. I want to be on screen. I want to just have that camera staring at me, even if it's my love affair, it's my first love and last love and all of those good things. I love the camera, whether it's for 30 seconds or 2 hours or you know, 7 hours or whatever it is. When I'm abroad, I get homesick. I get very, very lonely sometimes. It's very tough to, you know, not be with family and friends, and you miss your own problems. You know, like, I often say this, that, you know, I can't relate to, culturally, I cannot relate to the fact that people are like, yaar, aaj dhoop nahi nikli. I'm like, thank God nahi nikli. You know, what kind of a problem? That's an American problem, or that's a European problem. You know, so I just nod along like, yeah, it's horrible, right? And I'm so happy. There are those kind of disconnects which you miss sometimes when you're working abroad. But I love every medium. I love every kind of format. Maybe as a preference, I just have a slight bit of more love for feature films because you have to tell a story in a short span of time. And so sometimes you're able to have a larger impact because there's lesser dilution. You know, even if I have 10 good scenes or chalo 5 good scenes, you know, like the Lunchbox, we shot it in 9 days for me. And I think the number of scenes I have is under 10, sub 10. So it's like, you know, the impact you can have in a film which is well written, and the canvas is very interesting.
And personally, what are your indulgences as a girl? Your girls' night out, your travel? Uh,
I love
what is-
trekking. I am a trekking, hiking fiend. So this is one of the pleasures, guilty pleasures I have wherever I am. I find some mountain to climb. If I was shooting in Rajasthan, dunes. You know, I'm a mountain person. I am always running for for the mountains, not the hills. I'm always running for, the highest mountains or treks, or in the Sahyadris in the monsoons. I love that. It really recharges me like nothing else. I love visiting religious important places of all sorts, from Jyotirlings to dargahs to gurdwaras to. I find great rejuvenation in one spot that everyone goes with the same intention. It's beautiful, you know. It's kind of reminiscent of, for me, as a film set, you know, where all the energies are towards one focal point, that we have to get this moment right. So it's very, very sort of similar to me, you know. So I love doing that a lot on my travels. So that's me. Otherwise, I love going for coffees with my friends, and just doing random things sometimes, you know, just random stuff where there really isn't any plan. There's nothing major to talk about, but you just meet and hang, you know.
Yeah, all of
And
us love
memes,
that.
memes. I'm a meme
You like
fiend.
that
Yes,
too?
yes, yes. All cringe stuff, all kinds of unmentionable things.
Can't stop scrolling on that.
Doom scrolling sometimes, yeah. No, I don't recommend it, please. But I'm trying to be better about it. But I love sending memes, so that's my love language with my friends and my family.
Okay, so lastly, you're on this summit. A lot of girls watching you, a lot of girls inspired by you, want to be like you. Your advice to some of them wanting to come to Bombay, make a mark like you, uh, your life lessons that you can share on how you have conducted yourself as a girl, as a woman.
Uh, I feel a lot of responsibility when I'm asked this question. I feel like many times I'm still figuring things out. I don't think I've quite hacked absolutely everything. But I'll tell you one thing that I am trying to improve about myself. It's that when you have an instinct about something, don't keep it quiet. You know, when you feel like something's wrong somewhere in a situation or with a person, or something doesn't feel right, listen to it. Listen to what's happening with your inner voice, and don't hush it. You know, don't let anybody snub that. This is a real life challenge sometimes, you know, where you're like, okay, maybe I'm wrong, maybe, no. Listen to it, think about it. And honestly, don't let anybody else decide what you can and cannot do. That is most important, because your life story, you've got to write, and nobody else. They don't know what they're doing anyway. Nobody does. I don't. So how can I decide for someone else, you know? And less judgment. We go a long way without judgment and traveling light. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful talking to you. Your film Skyforce is going to release.
Yes.
I know you're very, very passionate about films that are particularly based on the defense forces.
Yes.
So if you'd want to speak about that last, or thank you so much.
No, I mean, it's actually releasing tomorrow. It's a project I'm very grateful to be a part of. It's a special appearance, and it's more out of my love for Dinesh Vijan, the massively amazing producer who's given me some of my best films, and I'm very, very fortunate to be a very tiny part of that film, and it obviously is with Akshay. In fact, we spoke yesterday, and they have a screening today, which I unfortunately won't be able to attend. But we were just recalling that it's been 9 years to Airlift. Airlift released 9 years ago yesterday, so it's kind of uncanny that it's a similar subject, not really, but to deal with something that flies off the tarmac. So it's a fabulous story. It's a true story. And it's a very, very heroic story. It's Veer Paharia's debut, and I wish him all the very best. I've had a wonderful time working with Akshay, Veer, and Sara, of course, is a part of it as well. I really wish the team all my love and all the very best.
Thank you so much, Nimrat. It's been lovely talking to you. Thank